Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm down at a place called Sandown Airport, which isn't too far from where I live, and I brought out with me the Werra, I think it's called Werra, W-E-R-R-A, Werra, I don't know. Anyway, it's a German camera. It takes pictures 35mm, and inside I've got a roll of ORWO film, UN54 100 speed film. I've got no light meter. I'm just going to use a Sunny 16 mil and get some pictures of some of these planes. This is one of them here. Look at that old beast. Interesting, isn't it? Look at the engine on it. But first of all, I'll just tell you a little bit about this camera and the film that I'm shooting, and we'll come back, take some pictures, Sunny 16, hopefully see what we get. This is the Werra 35mm viewfinder film camera that was manufactured by Zeiss Icongenna in the 1950s and 1960s. I think it ran from around about 1954 to around 1967-68. So this particular camera was sent to me by a kind guy called Neill Legg, and Neil, if you're watching, thanks a lot for sending me it. And this is the second time that I used it. Today I went to an airfield to take some photographs. I'm still playing around with this camera, still trying to get used to it. So I shoved a roll of ORWO 100 speed film inside the camera and went off to the airfield to take some shots. So when I first got this camera sent to me by Neill Legg, I looked at it and I couldn't figure it out at first. I thought I'd never seen anything like this before. The design looks pretty sleek with the black stripe running across it. Very minimalistic looking camera. All the magic stuff happens in the barrel of the lens, obviously on the shutter. If you look around the camera, on top is your shutter release there. Underneath you've got your little screw. You have to load the camera like this by taking the back plate off, put the film in, slide the back plate on. If I can get it back on, and also underneath you've got your tripod mount, your rewind mechanism there for rewinding your film back. But the most strangest thing I thought was, well, how do I advance the film? How do I advance it? Because usually it's sitting on the side, or unusually at the bottom, but this one is on the ring itself. There it is. That's how you advance the film. I've never seen that before, and I thought that was really, really strange. I have looked online, started researching this camera. Apparently there are some users out there and some fans of the Werra camera. I say Werra, I might be butchering the name. In fact, I put a photograph the other day out on Instagram and Facebook of my cameras. I was cleaning my room, I was cleaning all my cameras, put them all back in the cupboard, took a picture, stuck it out on Instagram and Facebook, and someone on Instagram said, are you going to make a video on the Werra camera? He said, I can't wait for you to butcher the name. I don't know. Anyway, this is the Werra. This is the Werra camera. In fact, I think it's pronounced Werra. Werra. I can't speak German. Which then brings me on to another point, because people started sending me pictures of their collection of cameras in their house, and I started looking at some of these pictures. I thought, blimey, no wonder there's no cameras out there for sale. Everyone's got them hoarded inside glass cabinets. I'll just quickly show you some of these images. So good for you people that are collecting these old film cameras. I hope you're looking after them, and I hope you're shooting them and putting them to good use. So let's get back to this Werra camera. I've already spoke to you about the simple design, the strange little advanced thing on the ring there for advancing your film. It's a viewfinder, there's no rangefinder, there's no light meter inside, and obviously there's no through the lens focusing, so you have to work out your distances on the distance scale on the lens when you're trying to get your focus right. The shutter on this camera is a Presto RVS shutter, and has speeds of 1 second all the way to 1/750th of a second, and also as a bulb mode 2. The lens is a 50mm Carl Zeiss Jenner lens, and that goes from all the way 2.8 all the way to f16, so there's a nice bit of glass on there. And obviously it's a leaf shutter, and that's about it. A real simple camera, proper old 1950s to 1960s. It's also got a little tiny filter already attached. I don't think I can take that off. I've tried, but I don't want to force it off in case it breaks. But it's called Actina BDB 28 filter, so I presume it's some kind of skylight filter, UV filter, but there's another attachment as well that comes with it. I can just put that on there like so, and I can put my lens hood on. There you go, so I've got a nice lens hood to stop any sun flares and also damaging the lens, I suppose. I've only ever shot this once before, and today was the second time that I've shot it down at the airfield. So let's get back to the airfield. I'll show you what I was shooting, and then I'll show you some of the images that I came back with that ORWO 100 speed film, and then I'll show you a couple of prints that I made in the darkroom. So with this camera, it's completely fully manual, so I've got to select the shutter speed, the aperture, and also the focusing as well. The focusing on it is in feet, but I'm going to use the zone focusing. So for example, if I'm shooting f11, which I'm going to be f11 2/50th of a second, I'm just going to set my camera ring here, the focusing to infinite on f11, and that means that anything between around 8 feet and infinite I'll get in focus, which is ideal for shooting these planes. This little tiny lens here, like I said, is a Carl Zeiss Jenner lens, and it's a 2.8 50mm lens, proper old camera, and I'm very grateful to have it in my hands and to be able to shoot it today. And it's great, this camera. The frame to advance the film there, you've got to twist it on the front there. It's really strange. It's a really strange design. I don't know why it was designed like that instead of a normal cocking the shutter there, advancing the frames there. But yeah, strange. This thing's amazing. You'd have to have total confidence in it if I was going to get in that. Unbelievable. It looks so cool. Wish I had a wider lens, really. Well, I know nothing about engines, but look at this. Unbelievable. There's all the spark plugs, obviously, and all the other bits and bobs that make it turn. It's so cool. Look at this exhaust pipe. So inside this camera, inside the viewfinder, you've got this little tiny window, etchings on the glass, which kind of gives you a rough estimate of where your framing is, and that's it. So I'm pretty confident I'm getting some nice compositions. The only thing you can do is try and get used to a camera like this, and know how it performs for you. Awesome. So I'm literally just milling around these planes in this bright sun, just getting some simple compositions, nothing too technical, just getting some nice different plane parts. Hopefully they're coming out all right. I've just noticed that I keep nudging my zone focusing ring away from infinite f11, so I don't know what's happening now. Keep nudging it. It's very easy to move around, but I'll keep it back at f11. So that was the second time that I've shot this camera, and the negatives come out really nice. I developed those in XTOL 1 part to 1 part for 5 minutes, and the temperature was 25 degrees. And the camera, I'm pleased to say, is working all tickety-boo. There's no light leaks, and the focusing seems to be working nicely. It didn't go through all the shutter speeds. I was only using that one shutter speed and a couple of the shots I went to 5.6 in the shade, in the shady areas. But nice little camera, seems to be working. I'll show you some prints. I went in the darkroom and made some prints, and I'll show you those now. And I apologise if the light is glaring off this gloss paper. This is the Kentmere paper that I showed the other day on my channel. I'm actually getting to like this paper. Quite heavy in the contrast, but it's nice. So I've got this 16 by 12 print here, and this I was trying to get it as big as I can, but obviously being a 35mm negative, whoop, it's not all going to fit on the sheet. And I wanted this one because I've sort of nailed the composition where I've got these lines coming from the top left diagonally down. So I then thought I need to reduce the size of the image on the paper so I can get the full frame printed, and that's what I did there. And you can see that's the composition I went for. You can see the lines of the plane are coming diagonally from the top of the paper down, so I think that makes a much better print. And I just needed to burn a little tiny bit up in the sky here, but I overburnt it. So off I went again and did another print, and this is the one that I really like. I love the composition, just peering through over that wingtip onto the engine there, and with all these all the lines and stuff of the plane going on. Real smart plane. I'm going to give this one to the guy that owns the plane as a little thank you for letting me take pictures of his plane, and he also give me a little bit of information on it as well. So it's only right that I'll give him this print, sign it up, and go over and give it to him. But that's one of the compositions that I really did like. One of the negatives, one of the photographs I enjoyed most out of the roll. And that was the second negative that I liked. There was only three that I chose to print. That was the second negative that I liked. A side-on view of the plane. It wasn't important that I got the rest of it in, but just this really coming into the frame. You can see the hangar in the background there, which is pretty dark. But this one here, there was no detail in the sky, so I needed to do a little tiny bit of burning, which wasn't too hard. You've got these curves here on the enlarger, just doing some burning into the sky, which is the final result there. So only 2 pieces of paper on that one, and also burned in a little tiny bit more on the plane as I went along using my hand here, burned in the sky. So this print, I'm also going to give this to that guy as well, so that guy's going to get 2 prints. You don't know it yet, you might not even want them, I don't know. Nice gesture though, isn't it? And then the other print that I did, which was this one here. This is the guy that let me into the airport. This is his own plane, guy called Dan. So this is his plane. This one was really hard because it's kind of like dark at the bottom, real bright white on a bright sunny day. You know, it is what it is. But I tried to burn in a little tiny bit at the top, but this white really just sort of like just went poof, out of the blue. You know, it just it just completely obliterated the. It's the same colour as the border. I didn't want that, so I tried some other little bit more jiggery pokery, and I ended up with the print like this, bit of burning in the sky, and this time I had to burn this in quite heavily as well, using I can't remember now what the filters I used. I didn't write them down. I've got them written down in the darkroom, but it don't matter. It's a photograph of a plane on paper made in my darkroom. So I went all out with the German gear, apart from the plane, which was American, but the camera was the Werra camera. I might have said that right. Let us know, the Germans out there, let us know if I'm saying it right. Werra camera, and also a roll of ORWO UN54, which is a 100-speed film. I started getting into ORWO films. I believe some of the ORWO is an original factory manufacturer, and there's certain brands out there that have rebranded ORWO film you probably don't know about, but I'm not going to get into that now. But ORWO film UN54 is the film that I use, which is a 100-speed film, and they sell it in the tins for bulk loading. So hopefully I'm going to get myself some of that soon and show you guys a bit more ORWO on the channel. I find it a real nice film to work with, and you know, another film away from the normal suspects or the usual suspects. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching, if you did watch till the end, and I'll catch you next time.